Greetings, brothers and sisters of the saddle. I trust you are well. I'm out in the woods today, messing around with the Una. I'm not going to talk about the tent itself because I've done that before. I will scatter links to my reviews and that kind of thing around. What I want to show you today is a technique that I've recently become aware of that lets you ditch the weblock and the ratchet and pitch with just a single extra carabiner, and optionally this thing. I'm not sure what it is. I bought it from a climbing website and I can't remember what it's called. I've only tried this a few times myself, so today is an experiment as much as anything else. Behind me I've pitched up with no weblock and I've used the ratchet to put the tension in. What this means is that we can measure the distance from the corner to the tree as tensioned by the ratchet, and this can be our baseline. Then because we've got no weblock in place, we know that we can release the tension from here and try out other techniques for tightening it without having to worry that the rest of the geometry might have changed and be affecting the results. It's probably not lab level science, but it's the best I can do in the woods with a tape measure. Right, with that done, we can finally get down to business. So, something to remember when you try this. You need to find the tightest possible pitch that you can. We're replacing the ratchet with a pulley system, and so you need as much free strap as possible to loop through that. The more free strap you have, the more purchase you're going to get when you come to pull the tension in. I'm going to have about 1 meter here, I think, 1.5 meters, and that's going to be plenty. I honestly don't know what the minimum is. You'll have to do your own experimentation. If you find out anything interesting, please let me know. So, the bottom two corners are both pitched exactly as they were when we had the ratchet in. Now, we're going to take the third strap. We're going to go to a point close up towards the tree. We take a loop of this strap and we pass it through our mystery ring, like so. This loop then comes down towards the tent and back up and through the mystery ring again. That gives you a sort of double eyelet through which you put your additional carabiner, like so. When you pull all that tight, you get this kind of affair going on. And this is going to be our pulley point. With your pulley point in place, take your loose strap down to the tent corner and up through the carabiner there. Then bring it back along over the top of your pulley carabiner, down and through, and then one more time down to the tent corner and again come up through that and over. And that's our pulley system built. This is what's going to give us the mechanical advantage we need to pull tension into the whole system. What's really nice about this though is that it has a built-in brake that stops that tension coming out again when you release the strap. And the way we do this is simply to take this second loop through the tent end carabiner and move it underneath the first one that we made. And that just means that when this is pulling, those two overlapping straps bite down on each other and stop anything slipping. No knots involved, which I just think is super, super elegant. Now, all you have to do is heave on this end, put the tension in. So I have hauled on that loose line about as hard as I can haul on it, I think, especially because it is finger-numbingly cold today. To the touch, it feels good. So I'm going to measure this now see how it stacks up against the 42.5 centimetres that we achieved with the ratchet. "42 centimetres. Not bad. So based on that quite casual bit of experimentation, I'll admit, this system seems to be as efficient as using the ratchet. But what it does save you is a load of weight and a load of bulk. The weblock and the ratchet weigh in at 280 grams. The additional carabiner and the mystery ring weigh in about 75 grams. So that's a serious saving. That's well worth it. I would argue as well that the ratchet is the most annoying part of the Tentsile setup. It's the part that is most likely to get weathered, gummed up with pine resin and bits of forest. They start to get a bit sticky over time. And they also can, over time, start to damage the edges of your straps a little bit. This just avoids all of that. Plus, it uses pulleys, and pulleys are just very, very elegant and rather sexy, I think. So, just a couple more points to make because the mist is coming down. It's getting really, really cold. Breaking camp. This system is very, very easy to release. You just take the loose end, you pull it away from the tree up towards the tent. Everything falls apart very, very easily. Beautiful. If you are someone who is looking to save every single gram possible, you can do this without the mystery ring. You can attach the carabiner directly into the strap using, I believe, a marlin spike hitch. I'm not going to talk about that because I'm not a knot expert, but it does seem to work. It's not that difficult to get undone, but it just seems like it's a knot to deal with that you don't really need. It's going to put some extra strain on the end of your strap, and it does sort of crumple your straps. It's a bit messy. It's just not as elegant as using the ring method, I don't think, for the sake of 50 grams. The last thing to mention is that using this can actually make the initial eyeballing of strap lengths easier. If you put this pulley system in place at the foot end when you first come to your triangle of trees, then even slack, it will hold tension enough that you can pull the other two corners out, eyeball them against your other two trees, then go back, adjust, eyeball, adjust, until you've got everything lined up. Then you can knot off those two corners and go back and put your tension in at the foot end, and everything will be lined up really nicely. I think this is a really, really good approach. I don't see why you would use the ratchet and weblock anymore. This to me is lighter, it's more packable, it's more elegant, it's one less knot to deal with, and it seems like the only real downside is that you do have to have that extra bit of strap length on one of the straps to work the pulley system. If I'm entirely honest, I think I'd be tempted to try and get hold of a strap that was an extra 1.5 meters long, just to enable me to have the same choice of pitches and use this system. That would be more packable, probably still lighter, I think, and just a much nicer approach overall, I think. I don't know, I'm interested to see what you all think. I borrowed this approach from the slacklining community. I didn't invent this. I thought I'd invented it. But then, of course, I went online and there's nothing new under the sun, is there? So if anyone has any tips for improving this, or has any experience of it failing horribly and dropping you into the drink, or if anyone has tried this on the bigger tensile models, that would be interesting as well. Maybe having a pulley system on each of the 3 lines. There's a lot of places to go with this, I think, but for me, for the Una, it works really well, and I'll be using this in the future for sure. I'm just waffling now, and I'm really, really cold, so I'm gonna get packed up, get on the old wheelie horse, pedal myself home. I hope you've enjoyed. I hope you found this kind of useful. Like and subscribe, and yeah, stay safe all. Strange time. guys. Bye now.